Hello, in this video I'll be solving a problem. So this is the scenario. You got a data that is meant to contain dates from January 1 to February 15, and that means that data should have 46 rows of data. But when you check through, you discover that the data only have 36 rows of data. So now you have a task of getting the list of the different dates that are not present in this data, and then you want to use formulas. Now it is possible to get our results without using helper column by using just one formula. But I will first get these results using helper columns first. You might not use a method that requires just one formula. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is I need to actually get the actual list of dates from January 1 to February 15. And to do that, I can use two methods. I can use a function called sequence, or I can use the fill option. I'll be using the two. So the first time now, I'll be using the fill option. So I'll just click into this place. And before I do that, I'll copy this end date because I will need it. And then I'll click on the first date here. And then I'll go to the home tab and then the fill option here. I'll click it and choose series, and then make sure this is has been changed to date, and then also change this to column. So for my stop value, I will paste in the date, the end date, which is February 15. Then I'll make sure this is day, and then the step value is 1 because we want the list of dates to increase by 1, right? And then okay, I'll click on okay, and now we have the list of different dates between these two dates. So what is the next thing now? So I'll delete this. I'll be using count if, and what I just want to check is I want to count the number of times each date here occurs in this list. So if it is 1, then that means it is present here. But if it is 0, then that means that date is not present in this list. So equals count if, and then the range is this. So I'll highlight this, and then it has to be fixed so that it won't change as the formula is being dragged down, and the criteria be this one here. Close the bracket, enter. Oh, well, I just need to change this formatting to maybe just general, and then double click down. You can now see that some dates have 1 while some have zeros. Those with zeros are the ones that is not present in our data. So but we're not done. We need a list of the days that are not present and not necessarily these. So now we can use filter function. Yes, let's use filter function now. Equals filter, and then what is our array? This is our array, and then what is the criteria? Criteria is that this is equals to 0. And I can close my bracket and then enter. So now we have the list of the 10 dates that we are not present in this. I know this is not looking like dates, it's just formatting. I'll go ahead to change the formatting to dates, and then we have the list of our dates that are actually not present in this data set. But then we need to create 1, 2, and then 3 helper columns. What if you just want to use one function? Then let me show you how to do that also. So now I'll be using the sequence function to create the list of dates. So I'll be using the sequence function. So equals sequence, and then row will be the total row that the sequence function should generate. To get that, that means I'll subtract my end date from my start date, and then I'll add 1. I'll add 1. That will give me the total number of rows that I need to generate. Second option is not required, and then the start number is this date here, and then the step is 1 because we want the dates to increase at the rate of 1. I'll close the bracket, and then now I have my list of dates again. So we've learned 2 ways of creating a list. You can use the fill option, and you can also use sequence function. Okay, but we are not done. Now we'll still use the same count if function. So what I'll just do is I'll just go here and copy this formula, or even cut it. So I have my formula now, and then I'll write my count if function. So that's equals count if, and then for the range, that is still this date range here, and then the criteria, I'll make sure that is fixed. And then the criteria will be the sequence function. Okay. Now close the bracket. And now let's change the data set to general, and then we'll see what is there. So I now have this count. So now we now have our list of 1 and 0. But this is actually not making sense now. The next thing now is to use an if function to wrap all of these into an if function. So if, and then we are saying if this is equals to 0, then give me my list of dates. And we know we got the list of dates through using the sequence formula, right? So I'll just paste in the same sequence formula here, then close my bracket. Then I have this true list that's saying false. Then the dates, these numbers are actually the dates that are not present in the data set. But still, we still does not we don't have a list yet. What we have is just a mixture of the date and then false, which we don't need. So we need to find a way of filtering out this false part of this list. And for that, I'll be using the filter function. So we are wrapping this function here. We are putting all of these inside a filter function. So look into this place and I'll add filter function. So now this is our array, and then we are saying if this array, if this equal, we are saying if this array is a number, then we should return it. If it is not, it should not. Actually, every date in Excel is a number, so that can work. So I'll use the is number function, is number, and then I'll paste all of this, which gave us the array. That's from the if function into that is number function. Now close the bracket, last bracket, and then we have the list of dates that are not present in the data set. So I showed us two ways to solve this. The first one is by creating helper columns, and then the other one is by using just one formula. Which one do you prefer between the two? If you want me to solve any other problem, Excel problem, you can comment about that. So thank you.